Hello friends, if you have been on Facebook or YouTube in the last few weeks, you have almost certainly seen it. The DVLA has banned drivers over 65. New rules force everyone over 65 off the road. Your license is being taken away this year. It is everywhere. It is being shared by the thousand, and it is frightening a great many people who have done absolutely nothing wrong and have driven safely for 50 years or more. And I understand exactly why it frightens people. Because for most of us, the car is not a luxury. It is the shopping, it is getting to the hospital, it is seeing the grandchildren, it is independence itself. So when a post appears saying all of that is about to be taken away on a birthday, of course it lands hard. So today I am going to do two things, and I am going to do them plainly and without drama. First, I am going to tell you exactly what is true and what has been completely made up, because most of what is circulating right now is simply false, and you deserve to stop worrying about something that is not happening. And second, I am going to walk you through what is genuinely changing, because there are real things worth knowing, including one rule that most older drivers have never had properly explained to them, and getting it wrong can cost you a fine of up to £1,000 and, worse, leave your insurance worthless when you need it most. Stay until the end, because there is also something your own doctor can do that affects your license without you ever being told directly, and a simple hour of your time that could actually lower your insurance bill. Before we get into it, if you are not subscribed, please do that now and turn on the bell. I cover exactly this kind of thing, the real changes that affect your daily life, explained clearly and calmly without the panic. I have gone through the actual DVLA rules, the official government proposals, and everything confirmed for 2026, and I have separated the facts from the fear. The people subscribed here get the accurate version before the myths reach them, and do the worrying for them. The people who are not tend to find out the truth much later, after weeks of unnecessary anxiety, or after making a mistake that a single piece of correct information would have prevented. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and let us get into it. Let us start with the viral claim head-on, because it deserves a direct and honest answer rather than a vague one. The claim going round, in a dozen different versions, is that a new law bans drivers over 65 or forces everyone over 65 or 70 to take a mandatory annual road test, or automatically strips your license away the moment you reach a certain birthday. I want to be as clear as I possibly can be. This is false. There is no such law. There never was. And there is no such law being planned. Driving in the United Kingdom is not taken away from you because of your age. It never has been. Your right to drive is based on one thing: whether you continue to meet the medical and eyesight standards, and if you meet them, there is no upper age limit at all. None. You can hold a full driving license at 70, at 80, at 90, and beyond, for as long as you remain fit to drive. The oldest drivers on British roads are well into their 90s, and entirely within the law. So when you see a post claiming your license vanishes at 65, understand that whoever wrote it either did not check or did not care, and scroll straight past it. Now let me tell you what the real rules actually say, because the truth is far calmer than the fiction. Nothing happens to your license at 65. That number has no special meaning in driving law at all. The age that actually matters is 70. On your 70th birthday, your driving license expires, and you must renew it in order to carry on driving. That is the real rule, and here is the part the scare posts always leave out, because it does not frighten anyone. That renewal is completely free. There is no charge. There is no road test. There is no written exam. There is no examiner sitting beside you. What you actually do is complete a self-declaration, either online at gov.uk or on the paper form the DVLA sends you, usually around 90 days before your 70th birthday. On that form you confirm two things: that you can read a car number plate from 20 meters away, and that you are declaring any medical conditions that could affect your driving. If nothing is flagged, the DVLA simply issues you a fresh license, valid for 3 years. After that, you renew again every 3 years for the rest of your driving life, each time free, each time a self-declaration. That is the entire process. It takes minutes, and for the overwhelming majority of people it is a formality. So the reality is not a ban. The reality is a free form every 3 years. That said, and this is genuinely important, Real change is being discussed, and I am not going to pretend otherwise, because you deserve the accurate version of that too, not just reassurance. In January 2026, the government opened a formal consultation on whether drivers aged 70 and over should be required to pass a proper eyesight test at each 3-year renewal, instead of simply declaring that their vision is fine. Now listen carefully to what that is and what it is not. It is a proposal about vision testing. It is not a ban. It is not a retest of your actual driving. It is not about age discrimination, and it would not disqualify anyone who can meet the standard, which most people can, often with nothing more than a pair of glasses. The consultation closed at the end of March 2026, and as things stand, its outcome has not yet been turned into law. So today, right now, the self-declaration system is still exactly what is in force. Nothing has changed yet. But if the rule does eventually change, and a number of road safety experts expect some version of it will, then drivers over 70 would need an optician's confirmation at renewal rather than simply ticking a box. And here is the practical, calm takeaway from all of it. If you are approaching 70 or already past it, having an eye test now is sensible preparation regardless of what the government decides, because good vision is the single most important thing for safe driving anyway. And remember this, if you are over 60, you are entitled to a free NHS sight test, usually every 2 years, so checking your eyes need not cost you a single penny. The second real change is the one with actual financial teeth, and it is the one most older drivers have never had properly explained to them, so I want to slow right down here. It is a legal obligation, not a polite suggestion, not an optional courtesy, to tell the DVLA if you develop a medical condition that could affect your driving, or if a condition you already have gets noticeably worse. This duty is not new, but the enforcement around it is quietly tightening, and the consequences of getting it wrong are serious. The DVLA can impose a fine of up to £1,000 if you fail to disclose a notifiable condition, and honestly, the fine is not even the worst part. The worst part is the insurance. If you have an accident, and it emerges that you had an undisclosed condition that could have been a factor, your insurer can refuse to pay out entirely. That means the repairs, the other party's costs, any injury claim, all of it could land on you personally, which could run to many thousands of pounds. So this is not a small piece of paperwork. It is one of the most financially important things an older driver can get right. Now, which conditions must you report? The list is specific, and it includes conditions such as dementia, including early-stage Alzheimer's, epilepsy or repeated seizures, Parkinson's disease, a stroke or a mini-stroke, also called a TIA, certain serious eye conditions that affect both eyes, some diabetes that is treated with insulin, and a range of significant heart conditions. You report these on gov.uk using the particular form for your specific condition, and if you are not sure whether yours needs reporting, gov.uk has a free condition checker where you type in your condition and it tells you the current rule in plain terms. And here is the reassurance that sits alongside the warning, because I do not want anyone hearing this to panic and assume that reporting a condition means losing their license. It usually does not. In well over 90% of cases where a medical condition is reported to the DVLA, the driver is allowed to keep their license, often simply subject to a periodic review. So the honest guidance is this: if in doubt, report it. The cost of reporting is a few minutes, and at worst, a review. The cost of not reporting is a possible £1,000 fine and an insurance policy that may not pay out. Those are not equal risks. Report it, and in the vast majority of cases you carry on driving exactly as before, with complete peace of mind. Now the next thing, the one I told you to wait for, because most people have genuinely no idea that it can happen. Your doctor is not necessarily silent on the question of your driving. In the United Kingdom, the primary legal duty to report a condition sits with you, the driver, not automatically with your GP. But under the professional guidance that doctors follow, if your GP genuinely believes that a condition makes you unsafe to drive, and you either refuse to stop driving or refuse to tell the DVLA yourself, then your doctor can, and in some serious circumstances actually must, contact the DVLA directly to raise their concern. When that happens, it does not mean you instantly lose your license. What it triggers is a medical review. The DVLA writes to you, asking for more information, sometimes a medical questionnaire, sometimes the results of an assessment from your GP or a specialist. You are given the chance to demonstrate that you are fit to drive. But here is the trap that catches people out, and it is entirely avoidable. If you ignore that letter, if you put it in a drawer and fail to respond within the time frame the DVLA gives you, your license can be revoked simply for non-response. Not because you were found unfit, simply because you did not reply. To put the scale of this in context, the DVLA revokes or refuses well over 100,000 licenses a year on medical grounds, and a portion of those are down to people who never responded to the letter rather than people who were genuinely unsafe. So if you have recently been diagnosed with anything on that notifiable list, it is worth asking your GP two direct and simple questions. First, do I need to report this to the DVLA myself? And second, have you had, or do you intend to have, any contact with the DVLA about my driving? Knowing the answers gives you time to respond properly and calmly, rather than being caught off guard by an official letter you were not expecting. There is also something worth knowing if you have an older family member whose driving you have quietly started to worry about. You are not powerless, and you do not have to resort to hiding the car keys. There is a proper, structured route through which concerns can be raised, and a formal DVLA assessment requested, with real medical evaluation rather than an arbitrary decision. Full guidance on that sits on gov.uk under the section on reporting a medical condition or a driver you are worried about. Now, before I give you the summary, let me leave you with one last thing that has nothing to do with fines or bans and everything to do with confidence and saving money. If you would like reassurance that your driving is still sharp, or you simply want to brush up after decades on the road, IAM RoadSmart offers what is called a mature driver review. It is a relaxed, roughly 1-hour session in your own car, on roads you already know, with a friendly expert sitting alongside you. There is no test, there is no pass or fail, nothing is reported to the DVLA or to anyone else. It is confidential, it is supportive, and at the end you simply receive some useful pointers. And here is the practical bonus. A growing number of insurers now recognize assessments like this, and completing one can lead to a discount on your premium, because a driver who takes proactive steps to check their skills is statistically a safer bet. One quick caveat, these reviews are meant for confident, healthy drivers, not for anyone who has already been advised by a doctor to stop driving or who has a diagnosed notifiable condition under investigation. But for most older drivers, it is an hour well spent, both for your own peace of mind and potentially for your wallet. So here is the full picture, laid out plainly, one more time. The viral claim that drivers over 65 have been banned or must take an annual retest is completely false. There is no such law, and there never was. Nothing at all happens to your license at 65. At 70, and only at 70, your license expires, and you renew it for free every 3 years through a simple self-declaration with no road test and no written exam. A government consultation on introducing mandatory eyesight tests for the over 70s opened in January 2026 and has now closed, but it is not yet law, and if you are near 70, a free NHS eye test now is sensible preparation, whatever the outcome. It is a legal duty to report notifiable medical conditions to the DVLA, and failing to do so risks a fine of up to £1,000 and, far more seriously, can void your insurance, though in over 90% of cases reporting a condition means you simply keep driving. Your GP can, in serious cases, contact the DVLA directly, which triggers a review that you absolutely must respond to, or you risk losing your license for silence alone. And a voluntary mature driver review can give you both reassurance and, in many cases, a lower insurance premium. Do not let the scare posts do your thinking or your worrying for you. Check the facts, know your real obligations, and carry on enjoying the independence you have earned. Subscribe and share this with someone you know who has been frightened by these rumors. One conversation could put their mind completely at rest and could save someone £1,000 fine or avoided insurance claim. I will see you in the next one.